We are so blessed to have you as part of this congregation.
Shabbat Shalom. I feel lucky to be here. I have a home here at Addis, where I grew up singing Shabbat songs in this sanctuary, pre-renovation, as a student at the Gan. I had my bat mitzvah in the traditional egalitarian minyan just down the hall. I used to play tag in the running room, as we called it, and I used to pelt my brother with gefilte fish balls on bad kiddush days. Addis has always been one of my homes. But I want to tell you about my other home in Israel, where we awoke 6 weeks ago to sirens that would shatter our world and poison the sweetness of the new year we had just celebrated. The first name I recognized was Roy Nahari, the charismatic, annoyingly handsome, smiley commander I trained in December of 2021. I was just reaching a year in the Army, and I was feeling a bit more confident about buddying up to the infantry officers who spent a month training with my team. Nahari was a frequent presence on my base, returning at least 3 times to train or visit or flirt. And when my dad visited that first December, Nahari was around, as he always was. So Dad and I bought a dozen pizzas and brought them into the desert where Nahari and his soldiers were finishing a drill. He was killed on October 7th, and he left a girlfriend, my friend Netta, and a twin brother, Bar, who will celebrate the rest of his birthdays alone. The next day I was called up, and by the 9th I was back on my Army base in the Negev. I was a reservist in an ill-fitting uniform with a red gel manicure and a nose ring, hoping that maybe here of all places, in the eye of the storm, I would find calm away from the endless, scrolling, nauseating list of names. When my friends and family checked in, I answered, as all Israelis do now. Beseder, ad kama she'efshar. We're okay, as much as one can be. When my unit received 3 cartons of donated girls' underwear from the city of Ashdod, we allowed ourselves to laugh. We were laughing, it would be okay. When those ran out and we washed our clothes with dish soap, hanging them to dry on dental floss that we strung between bunk beds, we shrugged. Not ideal, but it would be okay. When I gave my aunt's number to receive the call, should God forbid there be one, I told her, don't worry, it will be okay. And when I broke my dog tag in half so I could put my name in each shoe in case they needed to put me back together, I told myself it would be okay. But how could it be okay? I won't describe for you the horrors of October 7th because you've probably heard them recited more than I have. But I can tell you what it felt like to bury my friend Yuval. It felt like all the pain in the world was gathered above us in a whirlpool of hurt, and all we could hear was wailing. There was no dabbing of the eyes, there was no reflections on 25 years of a life well lived. Just wailing, shattered and angry, and a father's broken Kaddish, as Yuval's favorite artist sang over his grave, Laila tov yafeh sheli, good night, my beauty, good night. How could it ever be okay? I want to tell you about my home, about Israel, where a woman buys falafel from a street vendor and runs back to ask the proper bracha, where my elderly neighbor got concerned about my boyfriend who never wears a coat over his uniform, and so she knitted him a hat and left it on our door. I want to tell you about an Israel where the coffee shop owner gives you unsolicited dating advice, and the barber looks you straight in the eye as you wait in line, gives himself a haircut, and then closes for Shabbat. I want to tell you about Ben, the tailor who takes honey cake as a form of payment on Rosh Hashanah, about the cab driver who recited 25 minutes of Alterman's poetry, and about Irit, the Yemenite baker who gave me the keys to her house because she forgot to feed the cat. I want to tell you about an Israel where the only raised voices are Nisim and Itzik from the Green Market, where the only booms are slamming shesh-besh boards, the only screams come during jellyfish season, and the only sirens when Maccabi scores. In a few moments, we'll recite the prayer for the state of Israel. But my prayer for Israel is not to secure or protect her. I trust my friends, my roommates, my boyfriend, and all the other soldiers in my life to deliver on that promise. Thankfully, I don't think we'll need God on the protection front. But my prayer for the state of Israel, for my home, is a mishaberach, a healing, from the bullet that tore through my whole generation. My prayer for Israel is a birkat habayit, to repair the home whose mangled frame we trusted to shelter us. And my prayer is a tfilat haderech, for a safe return to some semblance of who we are, or at least who we were before. Shabbat Shalom.